Hey guys, welcome back. So today I wanted to make a video to show you how to process your flowers. When you receive your flowers after ordering them in bulk, they're often quite dehydrated and they need to be conditioned and get ready to be juicy and prepped for design. And today I'm going to show you how to do that step by step. Hi again, it's Marie, your trusted flower fairy, inspiring you to tap into your inner creative. And today we're talking about flower prep. So the first step is to make sure the vessel that you're using to store your flowers, so whether you're using a clear vase like this or a bucket, whatever you're using, make sure it's very clean and your water is nice and clean. Think of it this way, if you want to drink the water, your flowers probably doesn't want to drink it either. So yes, make sure everything is super clean before we start working. And the next step is your tools. So today I think we're gonna prep some roses and some foliage and a couple of flower flowers. Nothing too crazy, so I don't need tons of stuff, but I have a pair of gloves because there might be thorns in these roses. You might not need them depending on what you're working with, but I always say have a pair of working gloves because flowers can be quite thorny and you don't want to damage your hands. I also have a flower knife. I have some rose strippers for my roses. I have a pair of shears and I have a pair of scissors because I'm sure there's going to be some plastic, rubber bands and stuff that we need to cut away. And also, trash can. It gets very messy. So although, it's a studio, I can just sweep the floor. For event work, we're trying to keep it as clean as possible, but it just gets messy. But as much as you can, I'd say trying to keep things nice and clean and organized. Okay guys, so we're working with some pretty low-key stuff today, nothing too fussy and too delicate, so that's, I make another video. I'm trying to make many more videos of different types of flowers, but today we have this golden euonymus, a geridum. I love this because it's like a blue purple, it's a great filler, it looks really pretty, and I think this palette is like a very soft, easy palette. And we have these golden yellow zinnias. We have some white lysimachia. And we have these gorgeous white mondal roses. So the first thing we're gonna do is just basically cut off all of our rubber bands. I always start with a smaller bunch first. I guess out of all of these the zinnias are probably the most delicate. So just basically cut the rubber band off. And these are also super easy because there's no foliage on them. So it's just pretty much the stems. And we're gonna basically trim. We give them a fresh cut so they drink water. Take our shears. And I usually cut off roughly an inch from the base, and you cut it on an angle because you want to give it as much surface area to drink from as possible. So I'm gonna use my short vase here for these guys. Awesome. Look how pretty they are, drinking all the water. Okay. All right, so the next step, we'll do these guys here. So even for foliage, so this is a foliage. I love this color. It's so refreshing and happy. I always trim everything. So even my foliage, I trim the stem. Some people don't, but I personally think everything should get a fresh cut. And sometimes some stems can be quite dirty, so I will actually wash them. I have some extra water here, but you would run it under the faucet, but since, for the sake of the video, I just put them in a bucket of water, clean water. But basically you wash off your stem and then put it in water, in fresh water here. Okay. And I do the lysimachia next. So lysimachias have quite a few foliage. So first we'll trim, always trim. So that way on an angle, like I said earlier, to make sure they drink a lot of water. And I'm going to remove all my foliage because every leaf is just more water. The leaves absorb the water, which takes away from the actual flower. Remember, these are pretty much dead, they'll cut, right? So we want to prolong the life as much as possible. And this, guys, I love them. I made another video using them, 100 of them in an arrangement. But they have a lot of flowers on top, so they need more water to like bloom. And sometimes the foliage can kind of like deprive the actual flower head from getting water. So I'm gonna remove all my foliage on this, guys. Depending on the design you're doing, so if you're doing an installation, you wanna keep the bulk of your foliage because it kind of covers, it covers more surface area, obviously. But I'm going to be making a vase arrangement with these guys, so I don't need as much foliage on them. We have the Algerda. Again, cut my rubber bands, cut my stems. And these guys they're a little bit more dramatic in terms of like the way the leaves are. They're kind of like spider webby, right? All over the place a little bit. The key, you always want to make sure there are no leaves in the water. So a stem like this, you're gonna have some leaves on it. You always want to make sure when you put it in water, there's no leaves in the water. If you are gonna keep some leaves on your stems, make sure it's above your water line, because it will contaminate the water as they drink. And again, if you have dirty stems or things that have visible dirt, you want to rinse them before putting them in your clean water. Sometimes like a stem, I will remove like shorter stems from like a big stem like this and just put it in a separate, smaller vase, because this can be used for finishes or, you know, just adding that little extra thing to your arrangement, or maybe even used in a corsage or a wearable veneer. I'm not sure, whatever you're working on, if you're doing a wedding, but yeah. And sometimes just a bud vase. Right? This could be really great foliage for a bud vase arrangement. You don't want to waste anything. If anything looks like you don't know how you're going to use it, just leave it aside and you'll figure it out later. As you can see, I'm saving the roses for last because they're the more labor intensive one. So I usually start with more labor intensive flowers or finish with them. So I don't like to do them in the middle because you're gonna make the most mess. And yeah, so today we're getting the smaller stuff out of the way first. All right, gonna clean my table. Gonna get a small container for these guys. Be right back. Actually, I'm gonna switch these to this guy here. Okay. And now we're gonna get to our roses. So this is 25 stems in here. Hopefully nothing will break. So you cut your roses usually are quite dehydrated. I'm gonna put on my gloves just because. Yeah, so see, they're actually not as pretty when you get them out of the box. Yeah, so, and I'm gonna remove every single leaf on here. I don't want any leaves on these. And if we're working on an installation or a big project, I would just trim and keep them. I would remove maybe a little bit of the leaves, but I will keep them in there because for coverage, if you're doing like a large scale piece, you want to have the leaves actually come in quite handy. So, but again, we're not doing that today. And the white mandals are actually not super thorny at all, actually. They're pretty, yeah, it's pretty not thorny, actually. Yeah, there's so many variety of roses, guys. And some of them can be brutal with the thorns. And when you have like an event and you have to clean, I don't know, 1,000 roses and it's very thorny. But yeah, these guys are moving through them pretty fast. As you clean your flowers, sometimes you will have some broken stems. In this batch, we're quite lucky. So far, nothing is broken. Everything is pretty good. My roses are also pretty fresh. Nothing is rotten and ugly. Yeah, so I even need the rose stripper. What do you need them? What do you need it? Sorry. I'm so used to like when we're doing event work, it's like a few of us working in here and we using like quite a few rose strippers. So I just meant like a singular one. We didn't need it today. Okay. And I like to, for roses, again, look how much mess is like from one pack of roses. So I like to keep the plastic in the base so that way makes it easier to just clean up. Again, the work gets messy, so you want to keep your workspace as tidy as possible so you can have room to like see your work and breathe and make sure everything is nice. Okay. All right, and pretty much there you have it, guys. So now, yeah, you condition your flowers. This is pretty much conditioning. The next half of conditioning is just letting the flowers drink water in a cool environment. So I guess if you're working from home, maybe you have an AC or a cool dark room is ideal. You just let them open and breathe and get ready for design. Also in roses, sometimes depending on what you're making, again with installation work, you probably don't need to do this, but you should remove your guard petals, which is basically those outer petals that makes the rose look not as new. So if you go to like a flower shop, you will notice a lot of times the rose goes like, it's perfect, right? Because it's bloomed, and they also remove the guard petals to make sure it's nice and looks professional. So yeah, so there you have it. Happy designing. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. Make sure to like and subscribe to this video, and of course check me out on Instagram. I will be posting quite a bit there, and yeah, see you guys in the next one. Bye.